Hi, everybody. Welcome in. It is time for the world record when it comes to the United Bank Playbook. Normally, these things are 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Not today. The head basketball coach is here, and this is your favorite thing that you do as a coach.
Oh,
right?
no doubt, no doubt. 20 minutes, United Bank Playbook.
Yeah, so we're ready to jump in. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
I haven't seen you, actually, since Kansas City, man. How fast has that gone by? Not fast enough for you.
Not fast enough, not when you're sequestered at home.
How you doing this?
Well, I have an office. I have an office there. No, we've been in the office and trying to, look at a little bit of game tape and talk a little bit. Not much.
Let's bring us up to speed. So normally, we've got a bunch of things to get into here. Normally, this time of year, Hugs, from a recruiting perspective, from starting to work with the kids, where would you normally be if everyone was physically here right now?
All the above. We'd be recruiting now. We would be working out our guys now, and we would be running around doing MAC events now. This is the time where generally we're throughout the state and seeing the great people in the great state of West Virginia, and can't do it now.
Yeah, totally changed. As we record this would have been the big Charleston scholarship dinner with over several 600 people, I think, plus would be there, and so things are certainly changing. Did you know anything about Zoom before this happened?
I thought it was, how the little kids have those cars and they get the wheels going. Zoom. I thought that's what Zoom was.
Yeah, I understand. You using it much?
The cars?
No, the the software.
Actually, yeah.
What do you think?
Actually, it's all right. I mean, all those. Why do they keep popping around up there?
The gallery. That's the gallery look.
Yeah. Well, you think you got Jay Kuntz. You think you know where he is, and you look up there, and there he is, got his hat on and all that, and then you look over here, and you look back, and he's gone. And now you spend, 30 seconds, 45 seconds looking at that chessboard, trying to. Oh, there he is over there now. Why do they do that?
That's a really good question. I don't know why it doesn't stay still. And plus, the grid that you're looking at is not the grid that they're looking at. So they're looking at a completely different grid than you're looking at. But other than that, it works well, I think.
Well, and our guys are like, so you got them in there, you're kind of talking to them, and then somebody else says something, and you look over here and you look back, and now they're all totally gone. They just put their head down and they're gone.
They're out.
They're out.
Over and out.
And
Have you had a full team conversation? Like you got 12, 13 guys right up there and you're talking to them as a complete team?
Yes. Yes, we have. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to get those recorded. Those are probably pretty good.
You know what? They're getting better. They're loosening up a little bit more. They're a little freer. They're a little more confident.
Okay. So, does each individual player have specifics as to what you want them to be doing right now as far as development?
Yeah. Yeah, but they pretty much had that before all this happened, and they left.
Yeah. One of the boxes on the Zoom call, fortunately, didn't get deleted over the weekend. Oscar's box is still going to be there here on in. He makes the announcement that he's coming back. Now, you had said all along that is what you had anticipated. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to the team?
Well, and I'd probably get in trouble for saying this, but the amazing thing happened that you work like crazy to be able to recruit a guy of Oscar's caliber, and you compete against the various people out there that generally are the ones that get guys like him, and we're so happy, and people in the state of West Virginia are really happy. And then you get some people who they want to be a part of it, but they want to kind of want in the financial part of it as well. When he signs that big contract, they can, and West Virginia people, and I just never thought that'd happen. I mean, I thought when you're here, everybody loves West Virginia so much, loves the university so much, supports the university, the state, everybody so much, and we got some guys out there that aren't that way.
So you had to deal with the people that were the whisperers.
Yeah, you know, the people that I never in a million years thought I would have to deal with. So it's kind of a little bit of an awakening for me.
Okay. So the fact that he is here and coming back, let's talk about his off-season development. What do you want him to become better at before you go out there and play again?
A more complete player. I want him to be able to pass it better. I want him to be able to shoot it from the perimeter better. Want him to be able to switch and guard smaller guys a little bit better. I mean, obviously he can rebound it. He runs like crazy. He's gotten pretty good at scoring it with his back to the basket. I think he's got to work at scoring it a little bit better over size. But, I mean, he's going to work, Tony. That's the great thing about Oscar is he's going to work. He's going to put time in. He wants to be good. He wants to be good. But that can be said for the majority of our guys. I mean, we don't have very many that – I mean, our guys just love the game. They love having the ball in their hands. They love being able to work out. But even that's been a struggle, you know, for guys because, you know, there's no place really to get in and play. They're not allowed in the Coliseum. They're not allowed in a practice facility. They, you know, thank God for churches that build gyms in them.
Yeah, that's true too. Let's talk a little X's and O's here. The challenge this year for you guys was how to properly use your two bigs, and we'll call Derek and Oscar the two bigs. And we talked all season long about spacing. We talked all about these issues. When you look back at it now, what did you learn, and what do you take away from that you'll use next season?
The biggest problem we had, Tony, in spacing was not getting those guys too far apart, but them getting themselves too far apart. You know, so, you know, there's a huge difference in catching the ball at the top of the key and feeding your partner in the post than there is catching it at the foul line and feeding your partner in the post. You know, 7-8 feet make a big difference when you're talking about playing against some of the best athletes in the country that really close on the ball very quickly, and you know, that makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference of how to get or getting the ball there when it needs to get there, getting it there as quickly as we can get it there, and then getting it there in the right positions.
How much improvement is realistic for your two transfers from last season, Sean McNeil and Taz Sherman?
Well, I think if history is an indicator, generally junior college guys are way, way, way better their second year than they are their first. And I think we can go back and look at Tariq Phillip, look at Tavon, look at a lot of them. I'm trying to think. Jay-Sean Page. The junior college guys generally are much, much better. John Holden, they're much, much better their second year than what they are their first. But I think a lot of that is just being more comfortable and knowing what's going on instead of standing there, where am I supposed to go, what am I supposed to do? It just happens for them.
Let's talk a little Emmett Matthews. How would you break down his season?
Well, I think you can be too good a guy, you know, and I think Emmett really he loves his team, loves his teammates, and sometimes I think he took a back seat when he probably shouldn't have taken a back seat, but took a back seat in a good way because he thought it was the right thing to do. When in fact, as it turned out, after the fact, it probably wasn't the right thing to do. But I think he's going to come back way more aggressive. Tony, I'm excited. I mean, when you look at our front line and the people that we have on the front line and the skill level that we have on the front line, you take Emmett and JB now, those are two guys that can make shots on the perimeter that we haven't had, quite frankly. Emmett shot it really well early. JB shot it really well in practice. And I think those guys, because they give us size on the perimeter, they're both 6'7", they give us size. And then, as you said, I mean, I saw Sean play in junior college. Now, Sean can really, really shoot the ball. And he'll be so much more comfortable. He'll, the tendency is, shoot it, you miss it. You're looking over the bench. Am I coming out? They know they're not coming out. They know that, they're going to play until they get tired.
You mentioned JB, you're talking about Jalen Bridges. Very unique situation in that here's a top 100 recruit who went through absolutely everything you guys do for the entire season, with one exception. Didn't play in the games. Traveled, though, practiced, and so on. What's a realistic expectation? Do you consider him a redshirt freshman, or based on what he's been able to go through, a little bit farther up the chain?
Well, I think he's farther up the chain, but beyond him being there and doing all the things that you just expressed, he's got a good basketball mind. His father has done a great job. Coach Retton has done a great job with him. I think he's been coached, and he's had the opportunity to be able to make some mistakes. And Dad's saying, "Hey man, look at this, look at that. Maybe you should have did this instead of that." So I think he's going to play. And I was surprised at how well he rebounded the ball. I thought he would get knocked all around with those bigs. So we had some big bodies in there. When you think about Logan Rout and Derek and Oscar, I mean those are big bodies, and he rebounded the ball well.
What's Derek, besides the free throw shooting stroke, which he's going to get into here? What do you want to see from Derek now in year 3?
Well, consistency. Derek made what did he make? 14 free throws or something like that at Texas Tech, somewhere in there, and really made huge free throws for us in the preseason when we were playing those preseason games. Made huge free throws, pressure free throws, and we've got to get Derek to be consistent in his work ethic. And if he's consistent in his work ethic, then he'll have a heck of a year as well.
Let's talk point guard. Jordan and Deuce. You're going to have a junior and a sophomore back there. How do you size up that spot?
I think we're in good shape. I mean, I like our guys. I like, Jordan obviously is a guy who really studies things, and I think he's got a better understanding. Tony, it's not high school. You can't bury yourself over on the sideline when you're a point guard. And Deuce, I think Deuce got better and better and better the more that we played him at the point. And now you're talking about a guy too now who was hurt, really missed 2 years. I mean, basically missed two years of his high school career. So a guy who comes from a great basketball family, as does Jordan. They're around basketball people a lot. Deuce's father was a heck of a player at Xavier. So, I think those guys, their aptitude to learn, I think, is very good. What
do we need to know about the newcomers? And what's going to be an expectation that you have on your new guys?
Well, they've got to learn. I think that's the biggest thing. They're talented. It's a talented bunch. That's probably as good a 3-man class as we've brought in here since I've been here, anyways. And they have a lot of physical ability. Their skill level is pretty good. It's just the game's faster, man. If you sit down and talk to any of our guys, what's the difference? When you first get to college, the game's so much faster. The game is so much faster. It's faster. It's more physical. Guys are longer. It's just things happen very rapidly, and that's the thing that they're going to have to get accustomed to.
Schedule-wise, it's out. Last piece was that Georgetown is going to be.
It's awful, isn't
it? It might be.
My goodness. We're not playing Hiram College, are we? Wow. We got Purdue in New York. I know a trip you like to make.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got Georgetown. I mean, it's we're going to Cancun, where Creighton, who
You mean the Bahamas?
yeah, a Battle of Atlantis.
Right.
My fault. But we've got Creighton, who may be the best team in the country. Duke and a multitude of others, Ohio State, that's going to be a great tournament.
But this is a good year to have a really tough schedule as far as your personnel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, particularly getting Oscar back. You know, I think if we would lose Derek or Oscar, now you're talking about playing a freshman a whole lot of minutes, and they're going to play. We need to play them, and they're going to help us, but not in 30 minutes. They can't play that.
You had an idea
I've got great ideas
about the NCAA tournament because it didn't happen. You said, "Hey, why not start this
I heard
season?"
the number in the Big 12 that because of no conference tournament and no NCAA tournament, each school lost about $16 to $18 million, probably closer to 18. And probably, I think, probably more than that, because I think we had several teams who were capable of making a run in the NCAA tournament, which then the league gets more money to distribute. So, I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for us. When you think about, we had the second best schedule in the country a year ago. Tony, I have to think we may probably have the best schedule in the country when it's all said and done. So, I mean, it's going to be a great deal for us.
It's so early. Do you have any fears at all that you may be delayed in your season start, or is it just too early at this point?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing about there may be a spike. Unfortunately, I guess about the time that football starts, which is, I mean, we're going by then. I mean, I always go to the football game. We practice in the morning so I can get over to the football game. So that would preclude us from practicing if it's in that time frame that the spike happens. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how anybody knows.
Mm-hmm. Style of play-wise, you going to look differently at all next year?
We're going to try to play faster. We're going to try to play faster again. We're going to try to play faster. I really want to look at pressuring more. I want to look at playing more multiple defenses. And I say that, and then you go back and look at tape, and I'm hearing all these commentators saying West Virginia probably is the best defensive team in the country right now. And then I start thinking, well, if we're the best defensive team in the country, why do we need to fool around with some other things? But then you go back and you think about, we beat Villanova twice when we're in the Big East because we changed defenses on them. Just changed defenses on them, and we're able to get stops. But I mean, you look at the Pitt game in the Big East tournament. So we're going to experiment with some things, but Tony, we couldn't do it a year ago because we were so young, and we were the youngest team, experience-wise, of every team in the Power Five. When you think about that, I mean, we were the youngest Power Five team there was, and now we're with those guys having a year under their belt. Now all of a sudden we're going to be, I don't know if we'll be one of the most experienced, but we'll be at least in the middle of the pack.
So to play quicker, are you going to say the F word here? Are you going to say full court press, or does it not necessarily have to be that?
It's hard to say that without saying JC with it. Usually, you know what I mean?
But other teams have pressed without Javon Carter. You're not sure yet?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has pressed with JC on the top and Sags on the bottom. But
yeah.
No, I think we can. I really do. I think we can. I mean, we've got guys who can run. We got guys who can run, and you know, then it's up to us to try to teach them stay in front of their man. It's up to us to try to teach them angles. It's up to us to try to teach them rotations. We weren't very good at rotations for a while a year ago. You heard us harping about, you know, making rotations, and then at the end of the year we got pretty doggone good at making rotations at half court, but making rotations, and now we've just got to be able to extend that.
Yeah. League's going to be good again. Surprise, surprise.
What a shock. Yeah, what a shock. It's just, people don't understand how good it is, and I think more important than that, how good the coaching is. The coaching in this league is just terrific. You look at, I think there's 6 guys in the league now that have gone to Final Fours, and several others that have gone to, you know, Elite Eights. When you think that Scott Drew's one of the ones that hasn't gone, I mean, he's a Final Four coach.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's amazing how good the league is.
Lastly, to your knowledge, all of the things, so many different things are going to happen inside the Coliseum in the off-season, or we're scheduled to. Scoreboard, seats, the whole change that was going to take place, audio, still good to go?
Yeah, and long overdue. Long overdue. You know, I can't thank Shane and the administration enough for understanding that. I mean, it's an old building that needs a facelift, and you know, fortunately they did the corridors, and now it's time to clean up the inside. But what a great building. And you know, Tony, you keep going back and you watch film, and the announcers from wherever saying, you know, this building, I think every time I come in this building, that West Virginia has a 10-point advantage because of this building and because of the people and the enthusiasm that you have in this building. And so, you know, us going in and being able to put new seats in, a new scoreboard, you know, eventually a club area and everything. I mean, we need the people in the state of West Virginia to continue to come in and support us. It makes a huge, from where you're sitting there, you can, I mean, you can just tell the difference of when we have 14,000 people in there or we have 8,000 people in there. And I'd be inclined to want to have 14,000 in there all the time.
Well, hopefully it all happens on schedule. We appreciate the time, and ladies and gentlemen, there's only one way to end this. With Bob Huggins, I'm Tony Caridi, and this has been your
United Bank Playbook.